My dad's new girlfriend thought she'd won the lottery when I inherited a fortune. Too bad she didn't know I'd burn the house down before I'd give her a dime. It was a humid summer evening in our small Ohio town when Dad called me downstairs. I was 17, sprawled on my bed with earbuds blasting, trying to drown out the world. My name's Ellie, and I'd been dodging Dad's family meetings ever since Mom died 2 years ago. Those meetings were never about family, they were about him and his latest obsession, Carla. A woman half his age with a smile that screamed trouble. But something in his voice that night, a shaky edge I hadn't heard before, made me drag myself to the living room. The room felt wrong the second I stepped in. Dad sat on the couch, his usual flannel shirt replaced by a stiff button-up, like he was trying to look respectable. Carla perched next to him, her red nails tapping the armrest, her lips curled in a way that made my stomach churn. A baby, maybe 6 months old, gurgled in a crib by the corner. I didn't even know its name. Dad's eyes darted to the floor, then to Carla, then to me. "Ellie, sit down," he said, his voice low like he was bracing for a storm. I stayed standing. "We need to talk about your inheritance," he started, and my heart sank. Mom's life insurance and her family's estate had come through last month. The sum so large it felt like a curse. $2 million, enough to change everything. I'd planned to use it for college, maybe a car, maybe a life far from this suffocating house. But Dad's next words hit like a freight train. "Carla and we think you should help out with the baby. Child support, you know. It's only fair." I laughed, sharp and bitter, thinking it was a joke. "Child support? For your kid?" My eyes flicked to Carla, who didn't flinch. Her gaze was cold, calculating, like she'd already spent my money in her head. The baby cooed, oblivious, as the room closed in around me. Dad leaned forward, his face a mix of shame and desperation. "You've got so much now, Ellie. We're struggling. The baby needs things. Your family. Family helps." I was 17, not even out of high school, and they wanted me to bankroll their new life. The audacity burned through me, but beneath it, something colder took root: betrayal. Mom's money wasn't theirs to claim. She'd worked her whole life, scrimping and saving, to leave me something solid. Dad had barely been around, always chasing some new dream or woman, and now he thought he could guilt me into this? Carla's smirk grew, like she knew she had him wrapped around her finger. I wanted to scream, but instead I sat down, my mind racing for a way out. The next few weeks were a war of attrition. Dad and Carla kept up the pressure, dropping hints about family duty at every turn. Carla would leave diaper receipts on the kitchen counter, circled in red pen like I was supposed to pay up on the spot. Dad started talking about moving us all into a bigger house, for the baby's sake. As if I'd already agreed. I spent my nights Googling legal advice, my stomach in knots. Could they actually force me to pay? The internet said no, but doubt not at me. I wasn't an adult yet, and Dad was still my legal guardian. What if he found a way? I started avoiding them, staying late at school, crashing at my friend Mia's house when I could. Mia was the only one who knew about the inheritance, and she was furious on my behalf. "They're leeches, Ellie," she said one night, tossing popcorn at the TV during a bad rom-com. "You need to fight back." But how? I wasn't some badass movie heroine. I was a kid, grieving mom, trying to keep my grades up and my head above water. The weight of it all, the money, the betrayal, the baby I didn't ask for, felt like it would crush me. Then came the letter. It arrived on a rainy Tuesday, addressed to me in crisp, official font. I tore it open in my room, heart pounding. It was from a lawyer, someone Mom had apparently hired before she died. The letter was short but clear. The inheritance was in a trust, untouchable by anyone but me until I turned 18. Dad had no claim. Neither did Carla. Relief flooded me, but it was short-lived. When I showed Dad the letter, his face crumpled, then hardened. "You're selfish," he spat. "You'd let your own family struggle?" Carla didn't say a word, but her eyes screamed hate. That night I lay awake, the lawyer's letter clutched to my chest. I wasn't selfish, was I? Mom had left that money for me. Not for Dad's mistakes or Carla's greed. But guilt still clawed at me. The baby was innocent after all. What if they really were struggling? I hated how Dad could still make me doubt myself even now. I needed to get out, to think clearly, so I started planning. I'd move out the second I turned 18, use the trust to start fresh somewhere far away. But until then, I had to survive this house. Things got worse before they got better. Carla started playing dirty, leaving sob story notes about how the baby needed formula, how they couldn't afford daycare. Dad stopped talking to me altogether, his silence louder than any argument. I felt like a stranger in my own home, tiptoeing around their resentment. But I wasn't alone. Mia's mom, a paralegal, connected me with a free legal clinic. The lawyer there was a no-nonsense woman named Miss Carter, who laid it out plain. They can't touch your money, Ellie. And they can't guilt you into giving it up. Stand your ground. Miss Carter's words lit a fire in me. I started pushing back. When Carla left another receipt, I wrote "not my problem" in Sharpie and stuck it to the fridge. When Dad tried his family helps family speech, I cut him off. "You're not my family if you're trying to rob me." Felt good, but it also hurt. This was my dad, the guy who used to carry me on his shoulders at county fairs. Now he was a stranger, manipulated by a woman who saw dollar signs instead of a daughter. The breaking point came at Christmas. I'd hoped for a truce, maybe a moment of the old dad, but instead they ambushed me again. Over a tense dinner, Carla slid a contract across the tablia handwritten agreement for me to pay $500 a month for child support. Dad wouldn't meet my eyes. "It's for your brother," he mumbled. "My brother." The word felt like a slap. I stood up, hands shaking, and tore the paper in half. "You're delusional," I said, my voice steady for the first time. "This isn't my responsibility. You made your choices." I walked out, grabbed my coat, and didn't look back. Mia's family took me in for the holidays, and I spent the next few months counting down to my 18th birthday. When it finally came, I didn't throw a party or celebrate. I packed a bag, signed the papers to access my trust, and rented a small apartment near the community college where I'd enrolled. Dad called once, leaving a voicemail about rebuilding bridges, but I didn't call back. Carla sent a text demanding I do the right thing, but I blocked her number. The first night in my new place was quiet, too quiet. I sat on the floor, no furniture yet, and cried for Mom, for the dad I used to know, for the family we'd never be again. But I also felt free. The money wasn't a curse, Anna Marie, it was my ticket to a life I could build myself. I enrolled in business classes, got a part-time job at a bookstore, and started therapy to untangle the mess Dad and Carla had left in my head. The baby, I learned later, was fine. Carla's parents had stepped in to help, and Dad got a second job. They didn't need me. They never did. Looking back, I don't hate Dad, not really. He was weak, caught in Carla's web, but that doesn't excuse him. I learned something brutal that year. Family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up for you. Mom showed up even after she was gone with that trust. Mia and her mom showed up. Miss Carter showed up. I showed up for myself. And that's enough. What do you think? Was I right to cut them off, or should I have helped even a little for the baby's sake? Where do you draw the line between family duty and self-preservation? Share your thoughts, I want to hear them.